Wait. No. 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 Well, buddy, I guess it's time to pull you down from out of here and make a video. Wouldn't be one of my videos unless the bench was a mess. Hold on. This is an emergency, but I gotta have room on the desk to show it. Good enough. Hello, everyone. Just a forewarning, I'm probably about to get really emotional in this video. I just found out the SCX 10.2 is finally being discontinued. And I know that this has been a long time coming, but I don't think anything can prepare you for the day that this happens. I know it's just a toy, but I don't know how many people out there know how much of an icon the SCX 10.2 was. Just to have something to look at on the bench while I'm talking. I got into RC, yes, it was May of 2018 that I got into this hobby. Time flies. I still think I've been in this hobby 5 years. But anyway, I was fortunate enough to live across the street from the mall in Austin that happened to have a hobby town at the back end of it. Stumbled across RC Sparks, as everyone does, back on YouTube, back in the good old days. And watching his videos day after day after day made me set aside parts of my paycheck to finally go into the hobby town and scope it out. And I got ECX Tempered Gen 1 because it's what I could afford at the time. And I had a blast, even though within a month I broke the thing. But what I really wanted was one of these. And as much as I tried to save, I couldn't get up to the point to get a deadbolt, which is ridiculous in my opinion, because I think back in 2018 this was like 249. The real goal was the red JK, top of the line kit. No, it wasn't a kit. It was an RTR. The top of the line RTR from Axial. It was the red JK with the metal links, metal gears in the transmission, the CVDs, full on kitted out from Axial from what you could get from them. I hate getting into pricing because I feel like no one really cares but me. But that was always my thing getting into this hobby, was aspiring for a deadbolt. Which is crazy because back in the day that this was relevant, this was your entry level that had dog bones instead of CVDs in the front axle. It had plastic links and it had a plastic gear in the transmission. They gave you an upgrade path out of the box. I've gained a respect for Axial even though I haven't owned that many of them. I've skipped right over this because, like I said, 3 months after I got into the hobby, the TRX 4 Sport came out. And that thing was a tank. And that thing was just a ball of fun just to see what it could take. I had a buddy of mine make a metal bumper for me just for how much I was sending it off of cliffs. Just cartwheeling it off of like 10-foot ledges every time I took it out. Oh, that poor TRX4. But as I progressed through the hobby, more things started to come out and more things started to get. The more things started to shape up into a future leading to where we are now. But I don't think anyone, especially people in the industry, would have saw what has happened on Amazon. But just to kind of rewind from that point just a hair, I'm meandering all over the place. The reason I want to highlight this truck is the SCX 10.2 democratized the trail truck and crawler industry, in my opinion. You had the Deadbolt as your entry level. One step up from that, you had the Honcho. At the top of the line, you had the JK. At one point, they had the blue 69 Blazer. After that, they had the Raw Builders kit, which I feel like they should have built up until 2024, 2025, current day. Like I should have picked one of those up. I'm still kicking myself. I didn't build enough Raw Builders kits. The 10.2 Raw Builders kit was amazing. They had, I feel like, two or three more that I'm just not remembering. Such a good platform at such a broad price point with so much aftermarket support. You couldn't throw a rock without hitting at least someone on the trail that had a 10.2 truck, that had an axial truck. But then on top of that, so many other companies iterated off of this. Vanquish, Element, Gmade, all of Amazon. I mean, a shit ton of people have played with Axial's homework. This truck needs to go in the history books. I'm not going to sit here and say it's the GOAT, but the 10.2 walked so the rest of us could run. Let me get it out of the box. As a little aside, as of making this video, the blue one shows up as discontinued on Horizon's website, but you click on the tan, there's no reorder date for the tan. There's no like next shipment date. So that tells me they're probably going to discontinue the tan one as well. Now, keen eye among you would see that this is kind of a mid-year refresh deadbolt. What I mean by that is the original deadbolt had three-piece axles where there was the axle housing and then you could replace the C-hubs. This is when Horizon took over and to save on cost made the axles one piece. And then the third refresh is when they went to the blue and tan bodies. Can't have a deadbolt unless you have the green, in my opinion. Regretfully though, we have Tactic Electronics. This unfortunate thing. We also have a huge bag of parts, gate markers, and a manual. I'm not going to open that because I want to get the truck out of here. Yep, that's still Axial's compound. Doesn't feel any different than it does today. What does a 10.2 get you besides into the hobby? But as of recording, they would have been sold for $299. Super cool thing is this light bar is functional but does not have lights for it. You don't need that where we're going. The thing I've always loved about the 10.2 platform, the battery tray. Now granted, a lot of people can debate it in the comments, but the main reason I have liked the battery box in here versus other trucks, you always want to get your weight forward. So it's at the front of the truck. Granted, yes, it's in the chassis up high, but it's up front. I mean, what more? What more do you want? Now, for weight saving, some people would trim it right here, just because they run 2200 packs. You get your metal frame rails. You got your amazing 3-gear transmission that's been around, I guess, since the dawn of time. Inside here will be a plastic idler gear, which is your middle gear. They sell upgrades for that, but I also know old heads that have been running their plastic gear since like 2018. Plastic shock towers with plastic shocks, but the shocks are adjustable. They got little preload adjusters on here. Amazing enough, shocks still have oil. Oh, maybe I'm just too used to Vanquish trucks. Underneath you have plastic links, plastic drive shafts, and of course your Horizon specials of new one-piece 10-2 axle housings. Now, just to differentiate, because I just remembered I have these, this is the old housing. As you can see, you can take the C-hubs off. The comp guys would play with the angle of these. So there was adjustability there. But the thing I always liked was your link mounts were separate. So if you wanted to buy metal or even brass link mounts, you could do such. These are amazing, but supposedly also these are worth their weight in gold. Last thing I want to talk about is, of course, these electronics in here. These were back in the days where, what am I talking about back in the days? You still can't trust the electronics on an RTR. These 60 amp ESCs were bulletproof. I've literally submarine mode them for hours upon end. Receiver box here is sealed and waterproof with a little gasket, so you could splash proof them, but after a while water would seep into them, at least in my experience. But this guy, these tactic servos are ticking time bombs. I didn't learn that until later on. Yeah, this will probably get a trail run to show how this rig does stock. And also this may not even survive to the first trail run. Can't even one-hand it. How can you be a YouTuber with something like this? Turn this upside down and use your imagination. Now, has the industry moved on from this? Oh god, yeah. I'm putting body pins in this thing. I think Element's the only holdout that's still using like through the body pin. For scale trucks, that's a thing of the past. It's really weird saying that, but I've seen a lot of, but I've never caught on to, is you put a magnet back here and then you just take your body clip, place it back there. Because God only knows how many times I've lost a body clip on the trail. Just a little question for everyone out there. What's your opinion on these center caps? I hate them with a passion. Anything that impedes me from working on the vehicle makes me mad. So as of now, I'm just going to sit and stare at this thing a little bit and contemplate the proper send-off I can give the 10-2 as a giveaway vehicle. I'll see everyone in the next video.